Hey there, this is the Jade Tooth Project, and this video is a deep dive on jade, the wonderful gemstone that this entire channel is named after, and which I believe will reform the entire dental industry. So I'm really excited to share with you all of the amazing properties of white nephrite, specifically a type of jade. But before I do that, I want to give some context about this channel and about jade in general. So to start with, I've been on a long journey investigating the dental industry, what they're doing, what materials they're using, what ingredients go into those materials, and what the effects of those ingredients are on our health. Because one thing that I know is everything leaches. There's not as solid of lines and boundaries between things as a lot of people tend to think. Anything that goes into our mouth, especially with enzymes, saliva, chewing forces, high temperature, acidic environment, it's going to leach. So that's the key insight, which really got me going down this whole rabbit hole. And it was when my fiance and I were faced with necessary dental work and realizing the toxicity that our fillings were giving us, that we tried to find non-toxic alternatives. We really searched far and wide for dentists who offered anything like that, and to no avail. It just wasn't there whatsoever. Only toxicity all across the board, just poison after poison after poison. You can do this research for yourself, look into it. It's publicly available information. It's really shocking that they're making billions, trillions in this industry doing this to people. But hey, that's where the earth is right now. And I foresee a better future for people. I think people deserve better. I think we can make tweaks and small changes that have really big effects. So I've been, pioneering this movement for non-toxic dental restorations out of a urgent need for myself, for my family, and for the larger world to have these available. And quick, because a lot of times dental work can't wait. And there are serious ramifications to going the conventional route with this stuff. But there is no alternative route right now. So that's what I'm trying to spearhead. And even biological dentists are not alternative. They're basically doing the same stuff as conventional dentists, just slightly better. Not very much. So I'm trying to find replacements for conventional bridges, fillings, inlays, overlays, and clear aligner systems, implants, dentures, all these things that dentistry offers. But right now I'm mainly focused on inlays or fillings, bridges, and clear aligners, because these really are the most prevalent to my personal life. That's really it. But also, these three or four solutions can help most people with most of their dental their dental issues. Beyond this, there are cases that people need other things, but this is a majority of it. I mean, filling teeth, bridging gaps from teeth extractions, and giving people replacement teeth with bridges, and putting people's teeth back into place with clear aligners. These are the main functions of dentistry. At least they should be the main functions of dentistry. Right now, the main function of dentistry is to put petrochemicals and metals into people and have that leach into their system indefinitely. So the materials that I'm proposing to replace all of that stuff are white nephrite, a mineral-based dental cement, like a purely mineral dental cement made from non-toxic minerals. No heavy metal content or anything like that. And bioplastic. I think these three materials used in combination can provide most of the solutions that people need. And there are small things that can be added, for example, to the bioplastic to make it resistant to infection, to bacterial colonization, fungal colonization, and to give it better properties, better force retention, that sort of thing. So I'm looking for a team to do this. I'm trying to network with this channel and contact people who are also interested in this kind of thing, whether it be dental CAD designers, dental technicians, or prostheticians, biomaterials experts, or bioplastic producers. Really anyone in the patent industry for the creation of a defensive publication. And yeah, just anyone passionate rebels in this industry or outside of this industry, it doesn't matter. Inventors, engineers, anything. So I'm looking for international digital collaboration and to create a working prototype soon. So I should probably get into my disclaimer now. This is not medical advice. I'm not a licensed medical practitioner. I'm not liable for any actions you may decide to take as a result of this information I'm sharing. This is for educational purposes only. So now I'm gonna get into jade, what I came here for. Here's an overview about jade. So there are two types of jade. There's nephrite and there's jadeite. Nephrite is the one that's helpful for this project. And interestingly, jadeite is the one that has historical use in dentistry, in Mayan dentistry, but nephrite has better material properties for these purposes, and the Maya used jadeite because that was all that was available to them. However, it still worked for them, but I think nephrite is preferable and I'll get into why. So these two types are produced by entirely different geological processes. They can come in green, white, black, yellow, orange, brown, blue, or purple colors. So nephrite is the more common between the two, and jadeite is the rarer one. Nephrite is composed of calcium, magnesium, iron, silicon, oxygen, and hydrogen. That is pretty much it. Those basic elements compose nephrite. And what's interesting to notice about this is all of those are non-toxic to humans. You know, everything in moderation, but these are not harmful elements. White nephrite specifically has very low iron levels too, which makes it translucent white instead of green. So this is really nice for a dental application because it would closely resemble a natural tooth. Most people think of jade as green, but that's jade with a high iron content. So the white nephrite is specifically primarily sourced from China and New Zealand for its purity. And jadeite, on the other hand, is composed of sodium, aluminum, silicon, and oxygen. Those are the main elements. And this is a concern because of the aluminum. Aluminum is a toxic metal. And the disadvantage also of jade is that it's not as tough against fracture or bending or tensile strength forces as nephrite is. So jadeite is actually more prone to cleaving than nephrite. and this is really important. So nephrite historically was predominantly used for crafting tools, weapons, sacred objects, art, and ornamentations. It has a good reputation in China specifically, and has for mostly all of Chinese history. It's across the world, it's been associated with wisdom, justice, compassion, virtue, purity, beauty, immortality, protection, healing, spiritual refinement, strength, social status, and wealth. And those last two are very common associations pretty much across every culture, because jade tends to be a fine, precious gemstone that's not always abundant. So a lot of times it's been reserved for upper classes in society, especially the finest, most pure jade, the type that is good for crafting, for carving. Now, I'm not the first one to come up with the idea of using jade as a dental restoration. Like I said, the Maya people did it. There are multiple examples in ancient Mesoamerica. I mean, hundreds of, if not thousands of examples of the Maya people drilling into the front surface, the labial surface of their teeth, and doing this by hand, and then placing jadeite or different gemstones into those holes that they drill. And largely this is ornamental. It has ritual and spiritual significance as well, but this isn't primarily for dental restoration. However, there was one case, and actually the study just came out this year, a couple months ago, about in 500 AD or so, 1500 years ago, there was a person with a jade filling, a jade inlay into the occlusal surface, the chewing surface of a back molar. So this is what we would see with, like in modern dentistry, with the typical inlay, except it was done with a specially carved piece of jade that fit right into the tooth and was cemented in with a natural mineral-based, resin-based dental cement. Well, it's actually unknown in this particular case what cement was used. It was a natural cement, but it hasn't been chemically characterized. But other Maya artifacts, other Maya teeth that have been analyzed for the dental cement used, they found combinations of all sorts of minerals and plant materials that they combined in very specific ratios to create good cements that didn't rot over time and stayed good for people's entire lives. So this is similar to what I'm envisioning, actually, really close. And so I'm not the first, but I am refining this concept. I haven't heard of anyone trying the specific materials and combinations that I'm postulating. So the only source of jade in the whole Mesoamerican region was in the Motagua River Valley in Guatemala. And this is not surprising, considering this is one of the last places on Earth where the practice of the jade inlays on the front of the teeth, like I mentioned, is still occurring. The Maya descendants are still practicing this, and the only place in the Americas where white nephrite is found is in Canada. So it makes sense that they would use jade instead of jadeite instead of nephrite. And the rest of the white nephrite found on Earth is in Asia, practically. So white nephrite, I'm going to get into specifics and the properties of white nephrite now. It's the toughest precious gem, except for diamond, on Earth. So it's not the hardest per se, there are harder materials, which means more scratch resistant gems, but it's the toughest, except for diamond, which means if you try to smash it with a hammer, it's not going to break. It's incredibly hard to break with a hammer. So that says something about its potential applicability as a dental material. It has this, and it's interesting because even diamond can cleave more than white nephrite. This is really interesting. It has this property because of an interlocking kind of fibrous polycrystalline structure that is twisted and all felted together. Really, they compare it to the structure of like felt, but on a crystal microstructure level. And what this does is it makes it so that any cracks that form in the crystal are isolated to that microscopic point. They won't propagate throughout the whole crystal. They won't form big cleaves like most gemstones will. And yeah, this is really important for anything that's being used as a permanent dental material in the mouth, that it can take a huge impact force and not fracture. So it has these fine hair-like fibers. And this is really unique. There's another mineral called wollastonite that has similar hair-like fibers, but wollastonite isn't suitable like nephrite is for teeth replacements or hard. It's too brittle of a material. It can crack really easily. But these hair-like fibers are really interesting because they closely resemble the crystalline structure of our teeth. Most people don't even know that our teeth are actually biological crystals when you look at it. So I just think that, of course, we have these crystals in our mouth, and that's actually how the Maya people saw it. They saw our teeth as gems that needed polished and maintained like crystals. And I think having these crystals in our mouth, it just makes sense that we would use crystals to repair them. It's biomimicry, right? So nephrite, white nephrite is harder than steel, and it will scratch glass. White nephrite is tooth-colored, like I mentioned. It also has a slightly higher thermal conductivity to dentin. So this isn't really ideal for dental restorative materials, but anytime that nephrite would be used in the mouth, it would have a cement layer, a natural cement buffer that would hold it in place, and so this would take care of that. The dental cement would have a much lower thermal conductivity and would alleviate this issue. So, interesting thing about nephrite is, unlike a lot of gemstones, it can't be grown in a lab currently. So, if it were to be used for this purpose that I'm suggesting, it would need to come from natural nephrite reserves. And there's only so much of this pure white nephrite on Earth, the type that would be good in this application. And there's a specific type, like the highest quality. It's called Hetian, or also called mutton fat white nephrite jade. There's only about 100 to 200 tons of this stuff on Earth in reserves right now, and a lot of it's already been taken out of the ground, so there may not even be a big need for more mining And I'm always a proponent of hand mining over mining with explosives. But, and especially for this objective, it would be really important to hand mine it so that there's no heavy metal contamination from the mining process, from the conventional extractive mining process with explosives. And the medium grade white nephrite, which could theoretically also be used, there's about 8,000 to 10,000 tons of this stuff on Earth. So we got to use it wisely. Is what I'm getting at. I think this is the best use for it, though, on Earth. Like, people are making, I don't know, crazy jewelry and putting it in their homes as decorations, but this stuff could be used as a very functional material that gives people their health back instead. It's an extremely chemically stable gemstone, so it won't degrade from saliva or acidic foods or drinks in the mouth. This is very important. So it stays whole, so it doesn't lose its shape and affect the bite. Nephrite, there is nephrite that has kind of an aligned fiber orientation, crystal fiber orientation, and this type, it's not like all white nephrite has this type of orientation, but it's hard to distinguish without microscopic analysis. You know, you can't just say all white nephrite or all green nephrite or whatever it may be has this sort of orientation. It needs to be determined. But it can be inferred from where in the Earth it came from, the geological conditions. But there's nephrite with random fiber orientation, and the random fiber is actually preferable because this is what allows it to not cleave. So the random fiber orientation is also better because it can assist in the carving process. It needs to be carved with a 5-axis dental mill, and yeah, this will just prevent it from getting any microfractures in that process, and it can be polished really nicely, which is really important for reducing plaque and microbial buildup and fracture risk. So nephrite from gentle regional metamorphosis tends to produce the random fiber alignment, and the active fault zones tend to produce the aligned fibers, which are more prone to cleaving. So that's it's just a note on sourcing. Mutton fat, the really high quality type of jade, the type of white nephrite, it's likely to be a random fiber alignment. So that's hopeful for this project, really. But it should probably still be determined before putting it in someone's mouth. Might need to be electron microscopy rather. I don't know. But more beneficial properties of nephrite, why it's really nice for this purpose, is it doesn't absorb water, so it won't deform. It doesn't corrode or oxidize at all. So it won't change color or anything like that. It'll just stay how it is for someone's entire lifetime. Now, there is a question of radiation, and I looked into this. So nephrite is a mineral with slight radioactivity. Now, don't get alarmed, because it is actually so low that the amount of nephrite that would be in one dental filling, theoretically, would give someone the same amount of radiation as eating 15 bananas. And that's the amount of radiation that this filling would give a person in 1 year. So 1 year's worth of nephrite radiation per filling is like eating 15 bananas. So that's really, really not much at all compared to the natural background radiation that people receive just from being around electronics, from just space and the clay in the earth. It's negligible. Very, very low. So that's not really a concern at all. And it's even less than zirconia. Zirconia is a very popular dental material, and yeah, it has higher radiation than even nephrite. So that makes nephrite, gives it a one up, another one up above zirconia. Now, nephrite is completely non-toxic, as I mentioned. All the elements that compose nephrite are very, very standard elements that our body knows well and does not react to at all. So it's completely biologically inert. And actually kind of medicinal, which I'll get into later. So point is, if someone swallowed one of these things, let's say just 1 in a billion chance that one of these fillings fell out of someone. The dental cement wasn't formulated correctly, and it just falls out of a tooth and is swallowed. This happens with fillings sometimes. Well, it would pass through someone completely without harm, especially since it's gonna have to be polished before going into someone's mouth. It's not gonna have any sharp edges. It couldn't hurt someone's intestines from jagged corners or anything like that. So there's no concern there. Whereas if you swallow a plastic filling or a metal filling, it's like, oh, okay, I don't know about that. Here's the caveat. High quality white nephrite has a price. Compared to modern dental restorations, it's roughly similar. It depends where the nephrite is sourced, the quality, the purity, and also the labor that goes into it. It's all going to affect it. But just from the raw material costs, enough for one inlay would cost approximately $100 to $500 for about a gram of white nephrite. It's enough to do one tooth restoration. And that's pretty standard or typical. I mean, I would hope that in the future, like I shared in my video, Futuristic Dental Care, I would hope in the future that this procedure is covered by insurance, and that the insurance companies would bear the cost of this. But even if that's not the case in our capitalistic world, then this is still what most people pay for fillings. And sometimes they may even pay more, or the insurance company may pay more. So fully nephrite bridges, this would require more nephrite, and could be a few $1,000s for all of the white nephrite that would be required to construct a full bridge. Here's the difference, though, this could last forever in someone's mouth. Even fillings, a lot of times, like composite fillings, amalgam fillings, zirconia fillings, with the dental cement that they're using, they fall out, they wear down, they degrade. Sometimes they accumulate organisms which are not healthy, and this nephrite is just different. It could last forever in someone's mouth, so it's like you pay a little bit more, maybe you get a better product, you get what you pay for. And if this stuff is sourced in bulk by dental product manufacturers, then maybe the price can be brought down if it's turned into a repetitive artisan process that can be done more than just, once or twice. If someone can be supplying these sort of things, or even dental offices themselves could have the raw nephrite, if they're making these nephrite restorations in office, which is very feasible because all it takes is a 5-axis dental mill, which a lot of dentists already have for shaping zirconia fillings and bridges and implants, that sort of thing. So this could just basically replace zirconia and everything else. There's an ancient Chinese saying that gold is valuable while jade is priceless. And I just wanted to throw that in there because I really I see how true that is. And how priceless it is to have good dental care and non-toxic materials in one's mouth. That's true wealth, in my opinion. So that, once again, the ancient Chinese had it right, even though they did invent amalgam, and I am jaded about that, pun intended. So I don't know why. By the way, why did the ancient Chinese, like when they had so much white nephrite, why did they ever invent amalgam? And why have they been using it in people's teeth ever since? Like, it's so absurd that no one figured this out in all of Chinese history. They're like the most intellectually advanced culture on earth, arguably, and but they have such a rich tradition and history of innovation and technology and being the first to do things. It's like, why did they never figure this one out? It was right there. But I digress. So here are the health and spiritual associations with jade, nephrite specifically. Nephrite is derived from the Latin lapis nephriticus, and this literally means stone of the kidneys, or kidney stone, because it was believed to cure kidney stones and other kidney ailments and conditions in ancient Europe. Interesting. So the word jade is derived from the Spanish piedra de hijada, which means stone of the loin, because Spanish conquistadors in the early days of coming to Turtle Island watched indigenous Mesoamerican healers press jade against their patients' flanks or kidneys, their lower abdomen, to relieve pain. So they were using it for its spiritual properties to heal the kidneys. The Maya seem to have a really deep relationship with this stone, and In China, in Chinese, the characters for jade and kidney are linguistically related. And in medieval Middle Eastern cultures, jade was also used for internal organ ailments, in addition to protection from lightning and assuring victory in combat. So, all across the world, different cultures, pre-globalization, were independently using jade to heal organs. The stomach, the kidneys, and all sorts of stuff. Beyond this, consumption has also been well documented of jade. So, specifically in Asia, ground jade was boiled in elixirs as part of an elixir called the divine liquor of jade. And this was for strengthening the lungs, for healing the heart, the vocal cords, bones, muscles, and to calm the mind, to enrich the flesh, and to purify the blood. And it was believed to remove heat from the stomach, to treat asthma, to reduce body fever and thirst, and heavy feeling in the chest. And nowadays, in modern traditional Chinese medicine, nephrite is used for moistening the lungs, relieving restlessness, improving vision, calming the heart. It's also used for wheezing, for vexation, for wasting thirsting syndrome, for palpitations, and from erysipelas. And additionally to the Chinese ingesting it, the Chinese would apparently grind it into grain size bits and boil it with a few other ingredients to make this elixir. And the Greeks would powderize it, and they used jade in their elixirs to treat snake bites and rodent bites, as well as stomach ailments, and they placed pieces of jade on their eyelids to soothe tired eyes. So this is a medicinal stone. It's in our history as humans. It's been proven, and there's no reports of toxicity from any of this. Just the opposite. So I think it has a good case for replacing toxic dental materials for all of the reasons that I mentioned. So that's it for this video. If you would like to support this channel, please like this video, subscribe, comment down below with any thoughts, comments, concerns, or any words of support would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, I'm happy to be in dialogue about this stuff. I don't pretend to know it all. It is continually evolving. And yeah, I would love to see this reach as many people as possible. So if you have friends or family members or anyone in the dental industry that you know about who you think would benefit from this information or would even like to join in on this project, send them this video or watch some other videos on my channel and send those, and that would really help to get the word out and to help me create the connections that I'm seeking and to boost this channel on the algorithm. So how else? Yeah, I think that's mainly it. Yeah, I'm gonna keep putting out videos, so stay tuned for more, and thank you for your time.